Fall camp coverage presented by Borum Roof Company, roofing with a purpose. We have a two-part defensive line preview this year. That's why you know these guys are important. As Jake Kulig, new defensive line coach, of course, Bart with Coach Davis on the defensive line as we get to spend time and talk about this room here in Saluki football. Jake, welcome to Carbondale. I know you've been here a few days now. How's fall camp treating you as you just continue to get acclimated here to Saluki football?
Yeah, so fall camp, it's been super competitive. Love seeing the offense, defense, everybody competing their tails off. Everybody's playing hard, playing physical. And that's kind of the brand of football that Coach Hill preaches about every single day, especially in the trenches. Just us playing physical and having that mindset every single day. So.
Knowing this program now and having time to get acclimated, what's been the biggest thing that you've seen that you're like, man, I can relate to Saluki football and why this is a really good fit for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's working with these coaches. A lot of us share the same ideologies and stuff like that. Of Coach Hill upholding the standard and the culture, and all that trickle down effect between Coach Prawn, Coach Davis, everybody upholding that standard with their position room, and that's what makes this experience so special is seeing everybody getting better and competing every single day, and I think genuinely that's what's going to make us a really good football team this year. So.
Every journey is different for every coach. For you, why Southern Illinois and why now in your coaching journey, why you felt it was a good fit?
Yeah, so I mean, I came from a Division II school at Gannon University, and really the big reason I came here was Coach Davis. Working with him back in the day at Robert Morris, and being able to work with him on the defensive line, and that relationship just kind of grew from the start. Me and him shared the same perspectives and how you coach defensive line, and one day he was, I got a job, you want it, and I said, absolutely. So, I'm very grateful for the opportunity, grateful for him. Because this, as I've been here for about 5-6 months, this is a very special place.
What's been clear to me, Jake, is when you get an opportunity to go out to practice and either just stand to the side or watch your guys' individual period, it's clear you and Coach Davis have a really great chemistry. You guys are two guys that have a common goal of knowing what you need to work on each and every day. Was that from the start? Like when you first met him, were you two guys that just quickly were like, yeah, I think this is going to be a good connection?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first day I met Coach Davis, I don't think we ran any Indy. I think, because everybody was walking from drill to drill. So I found out very fast, like very quickly, what he was all about. And, even when I branched off and kind of did my own thing and, had my own room, like, I kind of upheld my guys to that same standard, and, he preaches every single day about effort, and making sure we're running to the football. And, I relate to that, and me and him work very, very well together in that regard of making sure we're pushing our guys to that standard.
I think fans, for the most part, can understand the importance of having an extra set of eyes. And when you look at the position breakdown on a football staff, it can be different wherever you go. And you don't know any different because it's your first year here with Coach Davis. But for those that maybe don't understand the ins and outs, how important is it just for you to be there, to have an extra set of eyes, to be able, what more can you guys now accomplish in a practice because you're there alongside Coach Davis?
Yeah, I mean, when you're coaching 4 guys at a time, it's easy to lose track and miss something. Or not be able to coach and be as specific and as detailed. So, with me in the equation, me and him working with all these guys, whatever, 18, 19 guys, now we can individually teach these guys the details of football, details of the technique, so that they can truly be masters of their craft and be able to attack each play without any question of this is what I'm supposed to do, this is how I'm supposed to do it in any type of situation. So, it's very, very important. It's great that we have the luxury of being able to have 2 of these guys. And I think when you watch practice and see these guys every single day, they're leaps and bounds better because they're getting those details and getting that information so that they can go out and execute at a high level.
With how you coach and your expertise, what makes the defensive line room such a great fit for you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm cut from a similar cloth as Coach Davis, and we have that similar type of mindset that you can coach people on every single play. There's something that you can get better at. When you watch us go through Indy, you watch team, even though it's hard to, we kind of got to pull ourselves
Yeah.
back during team and let them go. But when you watch us in Indy, like everybody is getting coached on something, right? And, me and Coach Davis have done this a long time. We can see bad footwork. We can see bad hand placement. We can see bad, pad level. So all those types of things, like, for me and him, we're able to just hone in on that, focus in on that. And, that's ultimately going to make these guys better football players and make us a better football team.
When you've seen this group from the spring to now, where do you go, man, I can already see major strides from where we were to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the outlook of the defense line. I wasn't here last year, but you
Yeah.
lose, three or four guys that were major contributors to the defensive line. So you think, the next year there's going to be this big drop off, but we have so much young talent, guys that have been here, guys that we got from the portal that just, I feel like we hit on everybody. It's a perfect storm where everybody just knows knows what we're trying to coach, and they're playing fast. And they're super focused on getting better every single day. So
It was a question I asked to Coach Reb. I think it's always interesting because every coach that comes into a program, it's new. But look, there's as much as information as you want to have in terms of the room when you take it over. But how much do you kind of want to go into it with a fresh, clean slate of when you come in to help Coach Davis and it's your first time to lock in on these guys? And maybe there's something you notice that people who have been ingrained in the daily for more than just your short time here see. How important is that when you come in to have that clean slate and that fresh look?
yeah, I mean, it's like looking at a blank canvas. You know what I mean? And you kind of get to paint your story of how you want it to look, and you get to start from ground zero and create good habits for these guys, so that for some of these guys, this is the first time they're hearing this information. Whether you're a freshman or we got guys that are playing defensive line for the first time they've ever played in their lives. Like, this is truly an opportunity for them to hear for the first time and understand, like, what are the good habits, what are the bad habits, and understand what I need to do to be a master at my technique. So I think it's great. I enjoy it every single day. It makes it's tough at times. I have a lot of gray hairs in my beard, but at the end of the day, like, it's fun. I'm having fun. These guys are young, they're energetic. They love playing football, and I think that just makes my job and Coach Davis's job very, very easy. So,
As we dive into the position group, we'll have the edge rushers kind of coming out during Coach Davis's interview. We'll have the interior guys filter in through yours. But just as a group, where do you go, man? Here are some key guys that are starting to get some key voices developed within the room as a whole, regardless of whether they're on the edge or in the interior of the defensive line.
yeah, I mean, you look at two guys like Amir Dwight and Jake Perella, like, those are guys that have been here, and they know what it looks like to be successful here. They know what it's like playing in the Missouri Valley every single week. So, we don't need to tell those two guys, like, hey, you can't get away with this in practice, as if you would playing against South Dakota State. So, those guys know what it takes to play in this league, and they know, when they see these young guys at their position groups, what it takes to be successful. So, they're kind of that mouthpiece for us when, we're teaching it. They can talk to those younger guys off to the side and be like, hey, this is what coach is trying to teach you, and this is what he wants you to understand. So when you go and get in these situations, you can be more effective. So.
Amir Dwight has always been a guy that's always been one of our favorites. And it's one because he's a very likable young man. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always willing to talk to you. But then Man, when he gets on the field, it is a completely different look for Amir. How have you seen him grow of, man, being that guy that is extremely approachable and I'm sure first class in every way when you're away from football, but still this is a physical sport now. You got to play with an edge and you got to find a mean streak, how he's able to find that.
Yeah, I mean, Amir has gotten, again, I wasn't here last year, but
Yeah.
he's gotten so much better. Just from me and Coach Davis's angle of, teaching him the little things, like he does. You watch him play, like he's super athletic, he's super twitchy, like he's super fun to watch. But for him, him being an older guy and playing a lot of reps, you can, get a little bit more detail with him. You can break it down a little bit more for him, because he can understand it. He can reciprocate that. And I think that's what makes him a special player. But, absolutely, like personality wise, like he walks into the room and you just know he's there. And I think that's the type of kids that we want on this team. And that are going to help this program continue to be great for a long time.
Our defensive line preview continues with a guy that we've seen his smiling face here for years, Amir Dwight. Next up, as we preview this defensive line, Amir, just take us through your development here because it's clear you've always had that smile, man. That's never changed. But your improvement on the field has just been spectacular. What are you most excited for this year?
This upcoming season, I'm very excited for like all the guys we have in the room, the transfers, Lance, Shu, Abe, just everybody coming together. I feel like this offseason we grew a lot, just becoming more gelling in together, just growing as with one another and just taking steps towards the right path.
You talked about a lot of the newcomers coming in, but there's many guys like you that have spent a lot of practices here, a lot of time within the program. How have you guys, as being one of those guys coming back and returners with experience, how does that help to know you got so much blood, sweat, equity within the program?
Right. Really just like you say, putting in blood, sweat, and tears here, just knowing what's going on, the ins and outs of everything that's going on. Just trusting Coach Meade, the defensive coordinator, just trusting everything that's going in, and just trusting they'll lead us to the right way.
Well, I'm always fascinated with guys like you. DJ is a great example of it, of when I get an opportunity to talk to you guys outside, just the best of all personalities.
Yes, sir.
But then, man, when you get that helmet on and you're out there on the field and it's in between the lines, there's a completely different mindset. Is it hard for you to find that whatever way you want to describe your personality on the field with how you are off the field?
No, sir. I would just say, like, I just love to play football, honestly. Just try to bring positive energy towards everybody I can outside and inside the game. And when I got the helmet on, it's just knowing it's go time, do what I got to do to put on for my family.
When someone watches you play, what are ways that you hope you are described? When they see Amir Dwight on the field, what's most important to you, how you want to be described?
A guy with a high motor, a guy that's just relentless, that's very, very physical, plays through the whistle, and just disciplined, on and off.
Who have been your biggest influences during your time here at SIU, Amir, and you can now, and be in more of a leadership role this year than you ever have been, can now feel like the lessons that you've learned, you're now being able to pass on to more guys?
Yes, sir. I would say coming in my freshman year, I would say Cam Bradley was definitely a big influence on me. D-Love, Dante, them guys just like showing they true leadership and just on and off the field. Like I say, like on and off the field, they're just personality, how they go about their work ethic. Just learning from them, taking in little notes. I would say Burn from last year as well. He had a great work ethic. So just adding little stuff to my game, what I can, and just keep going.
Do you feel like an unk now in the room?
I want to say I'm only 21, you know what I'm saying? So it's still people older than me in the room. I would say just because I've been here going on 4 years, people low-key probably think I'm old, but I don't feel like I'm personally.
Hey, you got no gray hair on you, man. You're far. But when you said those names, it really made me smile because I think of how important those guys were when I first got here.
Yes, sir.
To now that you are one of those guys now, Amir. I mean, is it easy to embrace that? Is it different, unique? Like how would you describe it when you walk in the room and know that those guys that you looked up to, you're really in their spot now?
Yes, sir. I Honestly, just how would I feel? I mean, I don't put in the work and the time to honestly just be in this spot, honestly. So, I mean, I don't feel no type of way, honestly. I just know I work for it. I've been preparing for this off season, this past couple off seasons, to be in this spot and just hopefully just reap the benefits now.
How have you guys as a room been able to improve with having an extra set of eyes in Coach Kulig? How big of an addition has he been?
That's huge. That's huge, honestly. Just so we can we got like 19 in the room right now, so we can split up interior and outside. So that helps a lot with the reps and just the extra coaching. Coach Davis might not see this, and Kulig will see this. So like that's real big.
The depth of the room, you understand, man. I mean, like you said, you described how many years you've been here. You know the best teams in this league are playing way more than just 4 guys, and even sometimes way more than 8.
Right.
Like the depth up front is so important. There's still a lot of time. I know still with practice before you guys get going, but how comfortable do you feel, Amir? Comfortable may not be the right word, but how many guys do you truly see? Like I can see that I can see that dude playing and having an impact for us this year.
Off top, I would say about 10 or 11. I could say we definitely could throw them in against North Dakota and just go out there and execute the calls and dominate whoever. So I would say definitely about 10 or 11. I like we got a freshman, Jaden, the freshman D lineman. He gonna be real nice. Including him, like we got a lot of pretty good depth.
One of the guys that's been talked about a ton as a newcomer has been Abe. Abe Sanago and what he's brought into the room. And a lot of it is how he carries himself within the meeting rooms. It's hard to do as a newcomer. Why has he been a guy that's been so relatable for someone like you and other teammates within that room?
I would say just his work ethic, how he attack every day. He focus every day when he come in the building. He got just a magnetic energy about the game that everybody just love. I mean, like you cannot like him. You know what I'm saying? So him just his how he attack everything. Honestly, he in the meeting room, he asking questions. We might get tired of him every now and then because he asking so many questions, but we actually need that. You know what I'm saying? Like some freshmen might not get it, and he's asking the right questions to we need to hear. Just his personality, everything.
You guys as defense get to go up against a really good offensive unit each and every day,
Right.
and one of the areas that's been a constant from Coach Prawn, all the assistants to you guys that played a year ago, we have to be better at stopping the run.
Right.
When you know you go up against a quarterback like DJ, you got a loaded running back room and a really good offensive line. How do you feel you guys are getting as a defensive unit, Amir, of if you're going to be better at stopping the run because of what you guys get to see every day in practice?
Last year, our offense was one of the top offenses, so just going against them every day, we seeing improvements daily. Like we stopping the run against them when they we got a real wild offense. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot they run. So we just been able to just hold them on different days and just seeing improvements against the O-line with D-Hard, Kellen, Ethan, all them boys up front. Or that's who I go against, but. Just overall, the backs, like you say, Chan and Ed, it's a lot. So just being able to stop them guys during practice, that definitely give us confidence that we will be able to stop the run during the season.
Never want to say you specifically have been waiting your time because, as you've described, you put in a lot of work, and not just into this year, but every year, Amir, knowing the amount of time that you've had. Just how eager are you ready to get this ball kicked off here in a couple of weeks and start this season of football?
Man, I couldn't be more ready. Honestly, I wish I could send them forward just to the first game, but honestly, we're gonna be ready the first week, first game, the whole season. But definitely West Florida, just continuing to just hone in on the little things, little small details, and continue to just execute the calls. So hopefully we'll have less MAs this year and just be able to just play fast.
The guy that also seems to pop at practice has been Lance there in the middle, Lance Bassett, and what I think. What I even forget when I dug into his background is originally recruited to Kansas. Of course, ultimately finds his way here after spending time at North Alabama. But man, when you get eyeballs on you at that big of a level, clearly there is something within the talent evaluation process that's clear and obvious. What's been clear and obvious about his transition here and how big of a piece he can be in terms of that interior defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, Lance is a freak. He's 6'3", 300-pound kid that can move better than, a lot of nose tackles in this league. And, athletically, he's super gifted, super talented, physically super talented. And I think from when I was here in the spring, seeing him on, whatever it is, practice 9 of fall camp, you're seeing some flashes now where you're just like, man, if this guy does this every play, he's going to put the rest of this league on notice. I mean, he is a special player, and I consistently he does that. He's going to be unstoppable.
Lance, appreciate the time, man. Everyone knows when you look in your background, you go, man, a guy originally went to Kansas, recruited. There clearly is a lot of skill set that you have. What are you most excited about being a Saluki and what you can showcase for this team this year?
I'm just thankful that I was able to get the opportunity. Coach Hill, came and found me, and was able to, give me this opportunity. And I feel like I've been overlooked a little bit sometimes in my life, and I think this is a good place to really plant my feet and kind of show the world what I have.
You come here after spending some time at North Alabama. What was most important when you did hit the portal, regardless of school name? What did you want to find?
Just a coach that's going to believe in me at all times and is willing to coach me even if it, comes in a, not an aggressive way, but more of like a really constructive way. Like every single time you do something wrong, it's not, demeaning you or anything like that. It's truly trying to build you up and make you better every single day.
When you get the opportunity to get to know Coach Davis, Coach Kulig, who are here, what's been a sign for you where you're like, hey, I picked the right place. Like, this is where I was supposed to be.
They hold me accountable at all spots. Whenever I'm, lacking in one area, they're gonna get on me. They're not gonna, let it slide just because of, whatever relationship we have. He's gonna keep it the same every single day.
And I can back that up, especially in practice. You guys, the attention to detail, and all of the positions on the team have attention to detail, and the coaches push them. But what do you like about the style of Coach Davis and Coach Kulig, where it's not just you, man? I mean, they hold all of you guys to an extremely high standard, and they're going to let you know if you're not meeting that standard in the specific rep, let alone specific day.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to get Coach Kulig as well as Coach Davis, because now we can have two coaches focusing on us and able to, see whatever thing where we're missing in the rep, and so we can all get better at the same time.
There's a lot of you guys, man. I mean, that's the other side of it. When you just got one coach representing a plethitude of guys, that's a hard deal to ask. Yet you get to work with everybody in the room too. What has you encouraged, Lance, just about the depth of the room right now as you go through fall camp?
We got different stages of college football in our room. We got some freshmen. We got older guys. We got people who've just been a few years, 2 or 3 years, and we're all working towards the same goal. It's not like one's trying to just get theirs, and one's just trying to, do other things. We're all trying to work towards the same goal right now. So
When you really are a veteran, and you've been through multiple different camps, you've been at multiple different spots, so you have that key experience level. What's something that hasn't changed, Lance? So when you think back to your first fall camp and you keep a notebook or whatever it is that you've written down, what's something that's been a constant that is still – from day one when you entered college football, it's still important here today?
Yeah, I would say being coachable. I feel like that's one thing I really prided myself on. Whenever I'm able to learn and absorb everything that I've learned from my coaches, I feel like I always become a better player afterwards.
One thing that's always clear, you're so well-spoken and you're very clear-minded. You have an attention to detail and knew why you wanted to come to a school like SIU. No, everybody has their own personal goals and things that they want to achieve. What are the biggest things when you came here and said, hey, this is where SIU can help me achieve the things that I want to achieve?
I really just would say that I just saw how I was able to speak really well with all the coaches, and not just the defensive coaches, even the offensive coaches. I feel like I've gotten to know them really well, and they were able to help me be in the spot where I really want to be. So.
Let's talk about your teammates, man. There's a lot of funny groups on the team. There's a lot of personality within all the different groups. The defensive line is up there now. For the fans that don't get an opportunity to be with you guys on a daily basis, how would you describe that room and the meeting rooms and the personalities within that room?
Yeah, we're a very chaotic bunch, but I feel like we just find a way just to have fun. Like we end up having random conversations that lead to other conversations, and whenever it's time to work, it's time to work. But whenever it's time for us to laugh and joke, we're gonna laugh and joke all it.
How important is it, Lance, to I can't think of a better way or a more proper way to say it than when you're on the field, you got to have a killer mentality, and especially at your position group at the defensive line. How much is that preached every day? And for you, how important it is to just remind yourself of, hey, when you hit that practice field, and great, you're going up against your teammates, but you got to practice that, because if you don't practice that way, it's not going to ultimately carry over to the games.
Yeah, Coach Davis and Coach Kulig always wants us to start fast, and that's one thing that is constant every single practice. You can't take the first couple reps to get yourself prepared. You gotta come onto the field with the same mindset that I want to dominate every single rep.
Multiple guys that have come in, you're one of them that gets mentioned has been key input guys in the room. How has Abe been a good addition to this room, and especially from a leadership standpoint? He seems to be a guy that's been a really key guy for you guys.
Yeah, I love that guy, honestly. He just came in, even the first day, he was able to, he came by, just want to talk and speak with everyone. First day, he didn't understand that he's really a team guy. He came from another school, but he's all into what we have going on here.
There are some young guys, man, whether it's Jaden, Caillou, others who continue to grow up. And look, you're focused on yourself because you want to play a key role. How much of an importance is guys look up to you, and they want to hear, whether they say they want to hear affirmation or not, it means a lot when an older guy says, hey, you're doing the right things, or hey, maybe I would change this way. How you try to be that leader, to be one of the leaders of guys to keep those younger guys engaged.
Yeah, I would say that me being a young guy when I was at Kansas, I feel like I really leaned on my vets, and I feel like they helped me, understand my habits, understand what I need to do to be the best player. So I wanted to be that guy for all the young guys in our room.
It's really unfair to put a guy like you in this position and your team to say, hey, how good are you guys going to be? How do you guys feel at this point in fall camp? But because there's still a lot of practices to go, and where you start is not ultimately where you hope you finish in terms of being an end product as a group. But you can tell, being a veteran, what do you see as the potential that you guys have as a defensive unit this year, Lance, and where you go through practice and go, I think we're going to be pretty darn good in these areas from what you see?
Yeah, I would just say that we try to, make sure every single rep is our best rep, and make sure every single thing we do at practice can lead to, having the right fit, being a very cohesive unit at all times, and everything else will take care of itself.
It's a fun question. I love asking all of you different guys because I think everybody has a why, but it's different for everybody. For you, as you head into this season, what's the why for you? What's the important factor that gets Lance Bassett up each day and have a chance to be an impact and play this game of football?
I would say two. I would say, first off, my Lord and Savior giving me this opportunity, the things I really prayed for, and also my family back home. Every single day I'm able to lean on them whenever my days are going good, whenever my days are going bad, that they're always in my corner and, standing strong with me. So
one of the really encouraging things I think you can find it across the team, not just your guys' position group, but some of the young guys have really been impressive in camp. And you can see, maybe you don't know if they're going to make an impact right away, but you can see their trajectory is pointing in a great direction. To me, one of those guys, and definitely in terms of personality, is Caillou. I hear so much conversation about him, and I could clearly tell why people and why his teammates like him, because, man, when you get to spend time around him, that is a personality that Saluki fans will really get to enjoy. There's others within that room, but how encouraging is it, Jake, to see young guys that come in and, again, not necessarily going, hey, maybe they're going to get a ton of those reps now, but that you clearly see the roadmap to guys like him to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, my first thought is, hats off to Coach Davis. I mean, recruiting these guys. I mean, they're great kids. They're very easy to coach, very humble. And the thing I love and Coach Davis loves about those guys on the inside is they're so eager to learn. It's what I go back to saying, that blank canvas. They don't know what they don't know. So, being able to coach them up, this is the first time they're hearing it, but with those guys inside, it's just really encouraging to see them every day get better at something, and it feels that way. So
Max, of course, a local kid who so many have seen grow up within the Southern Illinois area. He has seemed like he's had a really good camp. And then K. Lou has always been a guy that you hear his name being said quite a bit as well. Those guys, in terms of their improvement, what impresses you about them within that defensive line room?
yeah, Max is, your typical like hard hat. He brings it every single day. Even over the summer, like there's not a lot of kids that work as hard as Max does, and I think that elevates your room. That elevates the guys in front of him, behind him, to want to be better than they were the day before. So Max is going to be a contributor for us this year. He's going to help us. And it's just because he's a physical kid, and he brings that type of brand to our room. And K. Lou, this is going to be his first year where, he's going to be in a position to compete and put himself in a position to play a lot of meaningful snaps. And, for him, he's the type of kid that has reciprocated a lot of things we've coached him, and I think that's what I love about him is, he's the type of kid that's, if he doesn't know, he's going to come up and ask you, and he's going to watch film with it, and he's going to try and understand what the answers are so that he can go out and be a better football player. But he has been a great leader as well, through the summer, and a leader for these young guys in that room.
Max, describe your camp. How's it been? Because your coaches, in terms of Coach Davis and Coach Kulig, have really sang your praises.
Yes, sir. It's been good. I worked my way up. Been working hard to just keep climbing the depth chart and get on that field.
You've always been a guy that's just been a worker. Don't really say a whole lot. You just go out there and prove with your actions. How excited are you to really see, hey, the rep count's going up, the opportunity going up, and a lot of that has been earned for you?
Yes, sir. Obviously, that's what you dream of as a college athlete, getting on the field, seeing that time out there and being able to play in front of people. That's all you work for, and it's really been pleasing to see that.
You are one of many guys on this roster, and even when you go to the coaching staff that are from nearby towns that, of course, get an opportunity to play here for the Salukis, how much extra does that make it for you when you know that, hey, there's a lot of folks that are close by and within great driving distance to come see the Dogs play and see you in uniform?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like, I got buddies at home that are asking for tickets all the time, and I love giving it to them. Like, I love having the family and the friends and everything in the stands, and it just feels like home. Everybody's here to support me and everything, and I really enjoy it.
You've always been a guy that's been talked of highly. Max is a great teammate, extremely hard worker, all those things I've already brought up. That's been consistent. But what's something that you've been getting better at? Not just in terms of experience and more reps, but where have you improved your play to be a guy that's in the mix?
Yeah, I'd say one thing I'm starting to improve on now is like my pass rush moves. That's one thing I've always struggled with, and I've been focusing on that more, as well as like pad level. As an interior D lineman, I'm pretty light for that, so I got to have really good pad level, and otherwise I'll get knocked around. But that is another thing I'm working on is pad level, hands before feet. The techniques of the D line. Just perfecting that.
How has it helped all of you? And you probably can speak to this more than others because you've seen the difference of just having one D-line position coach to now having two, and Coach Kulig and Coach Davis. How's that helped all of you guys to just have an extra set of eyes, an extra voice, but also how much more can you guys really get done in a practice?
It's helped a lot. I mean, we can separate between the defensive ends and the defensive tackles, and then your reps in end you get like doubled. So there's not just one coach that's got to watch over everybody. There's two coaches that can split up individually, and whenever you're working on defensive tackle moves, they're different than defensive end. So the differing and the two guys that have different experiences, they can come together, and it really builds a good set of experience to work on.
Where do you feel Coach Kulig has helped you since coming into the program?
Coach Kulig, he's been a lot of help with learning like long arm pull through and just like working on small things that Coach Davis might look over a little bit. He kind of picks up and pulls the slack there. And
When you think of you guys as a room, where is the defensive line room? Granted, there's still a lot of time here in camp. You guys are, when we're catching up with you almost at the halfway point. Yet, where do you go? I like where this group is going as a whole, Max.
I really think we're a close knit group of guys. I really like how this is probably the closest D line group I've been in yet. We get in meetings, joke around all the time, but we still know how to lock in and be focused on what we need to get done. But I really like just really everybody. I mean, I can't put a exact thing on what I like, but everybody as a group is really doing good this year.
Who would you say you've leaned on a lot in your career here that has helped really you get in terms of mastering what you do on a daily basis, what you want to value in terms of practice, your habits? Who are some teammates, who are guys that are really top of mind that you're like, I need to try to mimic what these guys do? And now, of course, I think many use you as that example in practice, Max.
Yeah, I mean, in previous years, I probably leaned on the Reeves brothers quite a bit. This year, I mean, I've been looking at Amir. He's really a well-rounded in both pass and run. He's a very good athlete, and a lot of power and also speed. So he's a good role model to look off of as well.
There's been some great additions to the room when you think of Abe, when you think of Lance. But man, there's a lot of young guys that are continuing to push up through. But there's also guys who have been in this program. You one of them, Amir another, who's got plenty of time. Lucas has always been talked about within the room as great potential. Cam, of course, Cam Miller coming back for another year. Like the guys who have been here, how excited, not to just pinpoint you, but how excited are you guys collectively? Man, we put in a lot of work in the years in this program, and we're really excited to show the improvement. Not just we have made it individually, but it's going to show for us as a team.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun just growing up with these guys. Really, like over the years, they've been my best buddies. So just growing up with them and getting to play out there on the field with them it's an honor.
Look, Max, it's no secret the big talking points from Coach Cron and even Coach Davis and Coach Kulig, stopping the run. That's an area that every team talks about it and wants to be about it. You guys clearly want to improve in that area this year. Where can you already tell, because you're going to get practice against a really good offense that can run the football. Yeah. How have they helped you guys in knowing we know we're going to be ready for those areas because of what we're going up against every day?
Yeah, I mean, our offense runs about every play in the book, so that's one thing that we benefit from running up against them guys. They really and they're masters at a lot of stuff that they do too. It's not like they're just running everything and not much like perfection in it, but they do a good job at what they do, and I feel like every day we go out there and see something new and get better at it.
Max, we'll end on this note. It's been a common question I've asked a lot of your teammates that will come through this preview, but what's been your fuel this offseason to really fill up that tank, to know that, hey, when you get rocking and rolling here in a couple weeks, you're on F, you're on full, and you're ready to go? Yeah,
I mean, this is my last ride, so it's just really like all or nothing now. So I've really just, and the guys in the room, they just keep pushing me further and stuff. So it's just, I just love being around them. That's really what fuels me, is just the enjoyment that I get out of just being around the guys every day.
There are always guys whenever that come into the program and you get a chance, whether it's in the fall or I should say in the spring, and then ultimately when I get opportunities in the summer, and then especially when you start putting the pads on, the helmets on again in the fall. Shamond, you talk about a physical body where you go, I can see why Coach Davis and Coach Kulig are excited to coach this guy. Has spent some time at Troy before coming here to Carbondale. Outside of just the physical traits that he brings, how is he wired to be a successful player within this program?
Yeah, I think similar to K. Lou. I mean, he's a kid that, he's still a young football player, and he just wants to learn and absorb, so he can be the best football player he can be. I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, he's, you see him walk in the room, and he's this gigantic human, and it's just one of those things where it's like, when it clicks 100% and he is fully confident in what he's supposed to do, He is going to be a really truly special player, and he's getting better every single day, and he's improving, and he's much like Amir. I mean, he's just a great individual. You don't got to tell him things twice. He understands, and he's going to work hard. So.
Collectively, you guys as a defensive unit, as you continue to truck through fall camp, where are the areas where you are going? We're much better. Like we're making strides. We're going in the direction that we all collectively as all 11 want to go.
Yeah, I mean, collectively as a unit, I think our biggest emphasis, and Coach Prawn talks about it all the time, is, we got to stop the run. And I think, what we've done a really good job this year, so far, is we've been really physical at the point of attack, and not giving offenses a lot of run lanes and stuff like that. So, I think that part has drastically improved, and and the efforts there. You're seeing guys run to the football. You're seeing all 11 of us getting to the football, and that's going to result in us being a much better defense and a much better team. So.
Cam Miller, he is back for another year in this Saluki uniform. Cam, biggest takeaways for you from last year, where you got a lot of great playing time, to now be another guy that's going to be a clear-cut leader and a guy that's going to play a lot this year?
Honestly, just basically taking all the things that I learned from and all the mistakes that I made last year, and kind of trying to drive and basically just be that middle piece and do everything that I did last year, but also like take advantage of all the stuff that I messed up on last year.
What were the biggest things when the season was over and you had time to just watch yourself? What were you proud of? What were areas where you go, clear strength for me, and you want to build upon that heading into this year?
Honestly, just being physical. I felt like I played a good physical role, but also it was just me. I needed to dive into the playbook a little bit more and just know the intricacies of everything to just, do, and why are we doing this, and why are we blitzing, and where you want me to fit in the blitz, and just those things. So I kind of just take that to the next season.
What you just described, I think maybe some fans don't really understand the complex that goes into the defensive line. They just see you and those guys just bum rush the quarterback. They just try to go get the running back. What is an area where you can even tell this offseason, Cam, like you're knowing more of the playbook, you're understanding the scheme, like where you feel, hey, I know I'm getting better in terms of the understanding of what is demanded of me each day?
Honestly, it's just I know that I'm getting better at just learning the playbook more because I'm playing faster. And with that, I already play fast, but when you know the playbook more, it helps you play more faster in the scheme. So it's just that little piece right there of just knowing and having that confidence to come out and, I know this play. I know exactly what I want to do. I know how I want to penetrate the quarterback. I know how to hard wall rush and where I'm rushing to, the certain spots, and all those type of things, the little intricacies, like I said.
You guys are so competitive, and when you're an athlete such as yourself, there's no bigger critic than yourself. And you said, hey, there were areas that I was frustrated with, but I wanted to improve in terms of the schematics. Mm-hmm. But in terms of just how you want to be seen out on the field, what are unquestionable things where you're like, I want to show that maybe this was a weakness a year ago, but now it's going to be a strength?
Probably my pass rushing. I felt like last year we didn't have the best pass rushing defense. We had a good defense, but it was things that we lacked in that area. So I just want to come out and basically be that little stepping stone. And we got a lot of guys in the room that we can go pass rush. But now it's like we got to go set that tone and really go get those records and do those things and be ranked in that type of aspect. So I feel like that's one thing that I was just like, I pride myself on in the offseason. I worked real hard, and I was like, yeah, this year it was not going to be none of that. It was not going to be that we got to do this to get sacks. We're going to just be out there getting sacks. So that was just one little,
It's not just on you, Cam, but consistency. It's what all of us in all of our fields strive to do. How important is that message for you? And it's not just, hey, there's going to be highs and lows, but to make sure just consistency is the biggest thing for you when it comes to how you play.
Honestly, how I feel about that, and me and my guys, we've been talking about this since the season ended. We was just saying how consistent we want to stay and just like working, and it don't always have to be just the best day. Every day is not going to be great, but just striving for greatness, as in like, every day just still coming out there. It don't take too long to get 30, 40 minutes of extra work in and try to work on those type of things that we feel like that wasn't our biggest strengths last year.
What encourages you about the young guys in this room that are now starting to become more leadership roles and also get relied on in terms of playing? I'm speaking of guys like Tronzo. You think of Lucas McDaniels, Amir Dwight, who's had a lot of reps too, that's been within the program. You're a guy coming back for another year. Even though there's some key guys that aren't here anymore, do you like where, hey, guys who have been around are ready to really showcase what they can do for this team and this defense?
Yes, sir. I just feel like we all just take care of each other like a family. We all just, we basically, how can I say it? It's a word right there. Basically, like, we thrive with each other. So when I say thrive with each other, it's like basically like meaning like we want to get work with everybody. Everybody wants to, get work, and that's the real thing about it. It's no secret to the D-line. Work is gotta you just gotta put in work. So I just think of it like that, and we got a whole bunch of young guys that just so talented and ready to work, and that's I wouldn't want to say the difference, but that kind of is like the difference. We all want to work, and we all hungry, and we just love to compete. So it's like, with that being said, everybody wants to get better. Everybody wants to compete. Everybody want to do this. So, and we all understand that it takes work to do that. So we just all strive together, and we all hold each other accountable and just get on each other like, yeah, man, we got it. We want to do something this year. So it's limits that we set ourselves to and standards that we hold ourselves to, as in like we want to be the best D-line in the country. So
You guys are the ultimate standard when it comes to that. And not to say it's all saying, hey, things are better because of this factor, but how has it helped just having Coach Kulig in that defensive line room now, and especially in practice? You guys, it just seems you're able to get a lot more done than what you were able to do a year ago.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about this during the offseason, and Coach was telling us that we were going to have another, assistant D-line coach, and we definitely felt like we needed that. It was because when you got such a big group, it's hard to get to everybody how you want to. So I feel like bringing in Coach Kulig, it was great for the program, as in like now everybody can get a certain level of, okay, now I can teach them a little bit more. I can go over here with the ends and teach the ends a little bit more while we go teach the D-tackle something different, instead of us all being in a group and it's like we're all just working on one thing. So now it's, okay, we need interior to work on this. Okay, now we can go over there, Coach Davis, go coach the interior, and we need our edge rushers working on this. So now Kulig can come over there and coach us, and now it just splits down the group, and now everybody can get fundamental reps.
Everyone knows that when you get into the year, Cam, there's going to be a certain rotation. There are going to be core guys that are relied on a ton. But the elite teams in the Missouri Valley Football Conference who ultimately go on and be national title contenders, they have a lot of depth up front. One, just because of injuries and other things throughout the year. As you work every day with this defensive line, where do you see the depth being developed in the room and the versatility of different guys from the interior to guys on the edge that make you optimistic this group can be better?
I just like how I said, we have a whole bunch of young guys, and even we got younger guys coming in that just still ready to work. So it's like, I feel like we got a lot of versatility in that standpoint, and also just with everybody wanting to work, I just feel like this is going to be one of those defense, one man go down, the next man's going to be ready, and he's going to be ready, and he's going to be then live this moment out already, because of the simple fact that we're all ready and we're all still competing. So it's not like, oh, well, he's starting, oh, we just going to dwell. No, it's more of a, no, everybody wants to get there, everybody wants to be there, everybody want to be on the field. So I feel like that's one of those things that just keep us competitive, and the game is going to show. But also with, you were saying with the versatility, we have a whole bunch of guys that can go play in and play 3-tech, and we have a whole bunch of nose that can play 3-tech. So we just got a lot of athletic guys, and I feel like that's more of what our defense is built on this year. It's more of athleticism. So I feel like it's going to be fun to watch us.
There's still plenty of time, and you guys need the practice before you get rock and rolling with West Florida week 1, Cam, but I should say week 0 in all technicality. But in wanting to make that improvement and wanting to be a better defense, everybody knows that the team's got to be better also. What has you optimistic where you're going, I think this group has the right pieces, the athletic pieces, to be a better team this year and play more complementary football?
I would say probably just hard work. Like I feel like that's where we lead off on. Like I say, our guys, we put in a lot of work, and I'm not just talking about for everybody because we know everybody put in a lot of work, but our D-line guys, we put in a lot of work. And like I said, even the young guys, we sit there and we mold ourselves, and off the field, even we come together and still want to talk to our guys about just being ready, being prepared for that moment. So that's about it.
Final question to you, Cam, and I know it's pretty broad and pretty basic, but how ready are you to kick this thing off and get this year started?
Oh, my God, I'm so ready, man. I'm so ready. Everything that we done learned and all the things and time we done put in is just, But also I just want to stay where my feet is and keep getting better every day. So
There'll be a similar question I asked Coach Davis, and I have asked him during his time here. Jake, you look at the teams that are at the upper tier of the league and ultimately that are in the national title conversation, which this program clearly states we want to be in that conversation, be a team. You got to play a lot of guys up front. When you have a deep room, and especially a deep room in the defensive line room, typically you're going to be successful. Not that you probably know all your rotations and know exactly where everybody's going to go as of today, but where you guys feel in terms of depth, where you feel of versatility, and knowing there's going to be games where 8, 9, 10, maybe more that have to get into these games that are just extremely physical as you go throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, right now we have a lot of good problems. We have a lot of, competitions for the second spot, the third spot. And, Coach Davis and I talk to the depth chart every single day, and it's a lot of good questions and a lot of good give and take of, this guy's getting better, this guy's competing really hard. And, and I think, at the end of the day, the pieces will fall where they may. But I think right now we have a lot of guys that are competing, and everybody's got their foot on the gas pedal to get better. And, that's creating a lot of good conversations for me and Coach Davis to figure out, what that depth chart's going to look like.
Well, I know our fans are seeing it on the different B-roll throughout as well through our interview, Jake. But I think what also stands out is I don't think anyone's got better shades than you or Coach Davis. I mean, like the defensive line coaches, I don't know where you guys get all your shades, but like you guys are sharp there at practice.
Yeah, I got to give my credit to Coach Davis. That's him rubbing off on me. Before I worked with him, it was probably a little bit more stale. But no, I get my flavor from Coach Davis. So
see, you guys need to start rubbing off on Dan Clark a little bit. I think Dan could use some flavor, but that's kind of the offensive lineman way from time to time.
Yeah.
So,
if anybody's listening to this, if you can get him some new knee braces, not from the 1960s, his swagger level will go up at least 100 points.
No question about it. Jake, really appreciate the time you stopping by. It's been great to get to know you, and you guys are working your tails off. I'm really excited for you, the defense, for the team this year to get this thing rocking and rolling here in a couple weeks. Appreciate the time, Jake.
Appreciate you for having me.
Once again, we got plenty more coming, including part 2 of our defensive line preview with Coach Davis as Borum Roof Company, presenting sponsor for all of our fall camp coverage this year. Borum Roof Company, roofing with a purpose. Go Dogs!
This has been Saluki Royalty, the official podcast for Saluki Athletics. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review however you listen. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Saluki Sports Network.